Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my friends. Welcome once again to the Today Show with myself, Khaleel Mohammed. You know how it is. Hope you guys are fine and well. I hope you're enjoying the lovely weather we're having here at the UK. It's gone so nice and warm. Alhamdulillah, I'm enjoying it, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Right, we are now joined by Ameer Din via Skype from Embrace Islam, who is a team member. Ameer is here to talk about Embrace Islam and its first Ramadan and its weekly Iftars and Eid dinner, specifically for new Muslims and people exploring Islam. Sounds very intriguing. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well, brother Khaleel. How are you?
I'm fine. How was your Ramadan?
Alhamdulillah. Very busy, lots going on, inshallah, some of which we'll touch on in this conversation, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Right, so Embrace Islam, obviously it's to do with people coming to the deen, people exploring the religion. What inspired you to sort of start an initiative like this?
So I think, one of the first things we'll start with is that there's 5,000 people coming to Islam every year. That works out at 14 people per day. If we look at the number of current converts in the UK, they're sitting about 100,000 people. So we're talking a big number of people. And so, myself along with, there was a team involved in this, a big effort behind this, kind of identified this kind of gap in terms of support, in terms of a network, in terms of education, and decided that, you know what, we need to put something in action here, because it's one thing to get the shahadas done, but it's another thing to make sure that those who are coming to Islam are staying in Islam and are feeling supported. So the idea and the concept came together last year, last July. There was an event that took place in Glasgow, and we had a lot of community leaders come together from all types of backgrounds, and the initiative came and was kind of born from a lot of the discussions that took place there.
Initiative like yours, it's so important, and like you said, a lot of people kind of forget that once people embrace Islam and the masjid, they get hugs and everything, that person has to go and fend for themselves pretty much. So it's amazing and fantastic that organizations like yourself has been created to actually help those people stay in the deen, because I don't know what the rate of people leaving the deen after they've embraced is, but anything would be far too small. So we want to thank you on behalf of all the converts everywhere for initiating such a fantastic organization, brother. So you had your first iftar in Ramadan. How did that go? Was there anything that was really particularly special about it that stood out in your mind?
So this Ramadan was particularly special, not just for myself, but for the team as well. If we look at the kind of iftars, we had weekly iftars that were taking place, and those were every Monday. We had an iftar event that took place, and we had over 70 people every Monday coming to our space and taking part in our iftars. And that was a mixture of people, not just people from the Scottish community. We had different age groups, we had children coming, families coming, and so that really gave us a really special Ramadan, because every week we had this checkpoint where everyone came together. It was a non-judgmental space, it was a safe space. We had a small reminder from an Islamic scholar, and then it was very much about just creating this community of support.
MashaAllah. And I know you've got a healthy and thriving Muslim community in Glasgow. I've been there several times, so I know you guys have got a lot of stuff going on. But in terms of the impact in the wider community, how was that received, and what kind of questions did you get from people who were looking to explore Islam a little bit further?
So I think one of the key things when people are exploring Islam is understanding the actual true nature of the faith. One of the problems, I would say, or one of the challenges that we encounter is differentiating between religion and culture. And so a lot of people who were coming to us, surprisingly, a lot of the questions that we were initially faced with are really trivial things about, wearing short sleeve when praying, or, rolling up the cuffs when on the trousers when praying. Really kind of small, and, what we would see is maybe concerns for further down the road. We want to really ensure that, we create this space and this feeling of it's not, we'll guide you through this transition, inshallah, into Islam. So I would say that when it comes to talking to the community and talking to people who are considering Islam, we very much try to take this approach of make it easy for them, don't make it difficult.
Yes, of course. Exactly, because when you do, as a convert myself, when you come into the religion, of course, Islam is all there, and you can get waylaid and sidetracked by all these little minutiae, these little details, which are really thicky issues, which, as you said, should be really dealt with way down the line. One should talk about, the basics, the Tawheed first, the Salah, and of course the fasting should be the most important aspects that one should, tackle and think about, as opposed to these tiny sort of minutiae questions. In terms of questions, were there any reoccurring questions that, especially from non-Muslims, if you encountered any of those, were there any reoccurring questions that were over and over, stated over and over again?
I think one of the key things was around changing of the name. So one of the common questions that people ask is, if I wanted to become Muslim, would I have to change my name? And of course, this is one of the things that scholars agree is not something that is mandatory. People can very much, keep their name if that's something that is important to them. Many decide to change their name, but that's it seems to be the more kind of how do I kind of manage my relationship with my current family, with my current friends. Do I have to wear a scarf? Do I have to change my name? They're the kind of reoccurring ones that are the practical, everyday type of questions that people.
Yeah, a lot of people encourage me to change. Obviously, I took the name Khaleel Mohammed, but I didn't change it legally. And at one point, I was going to. Then I thought, why do I don't actually need to? This is like 10 years into my journey as a Muslim, so I reckon I didn't need to. So anyway, so listen, we've got some images and some footage that we want to show you, or you want to show us. Can you talk us through some of these, inshallah? Tell us what we're looking at here.
So, alhamdulillah, at the end of Ramadan, we decided one of the pieces of feedback that we got from the new Muslims who were attending was that Eid can be a very isolated and lonely day. We as Muslims, we get together with our families, we enjoy food and gifts, and we have this whole atmosphere. But for new Muslims who are perhaps maybe not, openly kind of showing that they're Muslim, or with their family members and friends, it can be really, really challenging for them. So we decided this year that for Eid al-Fitr we would do an Eid dinner. And we had a really fantastic menu. It was a Desi Scottish fusion. So we had haggis pakora, that's right, haggis pakora. We had halal pie. We made it so sort of homely and traditional for those new Muslims who were coming, and it was just an absolute ball. We had a bouncy castle there for children. We had plenty of food and desserts, and it was an abundance of fun for all those who attended. So, you can see the videos there. We were very fortunate to have such a beautiful spread of food,
You've got me really thinking about this haggis pakora. What on earth would that be like? If I come up there, I'm going to be up there in the next couple of months. Maybe we can meet up and you can give me some of that. I would love to try that. It sounds fantastic, mashallah. And finally, my brother, in terms of plans, because of course you started off very strong, alhamdulillah, what are the plans for the future? Because you've got to keep this train going, you've got to keep that snowball going. What other plans do you have in the future, inshallah?
I think you're absolutely right. One of the key challenges with organisations like this is that they start off very strong, they set the bar very high, and then for some reason or another, they fall off. And that's absolutely not the way that we intend in doing this. Alhamdulillah, we have such a fantastic team, and our kind of founder and kind of lead, Sheikh Ameer Jamil, is very focused on making sure that this project is for the long run. And so we've now got, and actually tonight at this very moment in time, we have the first session of our Foundations of Islam course taking place. So we have qualified teachers right now teaching to over 40 new Muslims in a safe space, and they're having discussions and learning about the fundamentals and foundations of Islam at a pace and at a level that will really keep them going. And so that's just one thing that we're focusing on. We also, as you might know, if you're familiar with Scotland, our traditional drink is iron brew. So we have a social called Brewing Barakah. So Brewing Barakah is our social event that we'll be running on a monthly basis. And then safe space, crack open a can of iron brew and chat to your brothers and sisters. So we're very much keeping the things going, inshallah, and things, inshallah, can only go upwards for us from here.
Is it really made from girders?
That I can't. I haven't. I would need to come back to you. When you come up to Scotland, we'll do a bit of digging, we'll find out.
We'll try some, inshallah. We've got a few more images. Can you tell us what we're looking at here? It looks like a beautiful spread.
Yeah, so this is a picture of during our Iftars. So you can see here plenty of tables filled. I mean, we had a waiting list, which was it's a double-edged sword. We only have a capacity that we can manage. We actually had a waiting list of people who were looking to attend. So you can see there, we have brother Abdul Madeen, who came to Islam, many, many years ago, and he's very kindly was sharing some of his stories and some hints and tips. He even did some poetry with some of the younger children that were there as well. So you can see a really kind of wholesome feeling in the room.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. What about this one? Who are these young chappies here?
Yeah, so that's me, you can see there, and then in the middle is our teacher and lead Sheikh Ameer Jamil, and then on the right of that picture is Brother Dawd Duncan, who is from Oban, for any of you who want to Google where that is. It's much further north than where I am in Scotland, and Brother Dawd Duncan came to Islam again a number of years ago. He's one of the kind of core team behind this, again, making sure we need to be in check, and we need to make sure that the work that we're doing does connect with that new Muslim kind of community there. We don't want to, as people who are born Muslims, it can be, we can often overlook some of the nuances that need to be kind of considered.
Absolutely. And finally, can you tell us where can we find your organization online, social media, web handles, etc., etc.?
Absolutely. So simply, if you're on Instagram, just search at Embrace Islam Scot. So at Embrace Islam Scot, and you will find us on Instagram, and that's the same with Facebook. And at Embrace Islam Scotland is our YouTube link as well. And we've got our website, which is www.embraceislam.org, and you can support us and follow us through any of those media channels.
Absolutely fantastic. Ameer Din from Embrace Islam. Thank you so much, brother, for joining us all the way from Wee Bonnie, Scotland. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.